Hello, everyone. Virgo, 2 years, 730 days of waking up, checking if today's the day, 730 nights falling asleep, wondering if you're delusional for still hoping, 24 months of people asking, are you sure you should keep waiting? While you smile tight and change the subject, because explaining would require admitting just how badly you need this thing that refuses to arrive. And now, after all that waiting, after you finally started making peace with maybe never, after you stopped checking email 17 times a day, after you took down the vision board because looking at it hurt too much, it's here. Or more accurately, it's coming. So close you can feel static electricity of it approaching. So imminent, I'm freaking out just seeing the energy around you. So real that must watch isn't suggestion, it's warning. Because 2 years of waiting doesn't prepare you for receiving, actually makes receiving harder. You're so conditioned to disappointment that when the actual thing finally shows up, you almost can't recognize it. Let me tell you what 2 years does to a person. It erodes hope gradually, not all at once. You don't wake up one day and decide, I give up. You just notice one day that you stopped feeling the want as intensely, that you stopped planning for it, that you started building life around its absence instead of its eventual presence. And you tell yourself, that's healthy. That's detachment. That's spiritual maturity. But really, it's just protection, heart in bunker. Not because you don't want it anymore, because wanting it without having it hurts and you're tired of hurting. 2 years creates doot that calcifies into identity. You start thinking, I'm just the person this doesn't happen. 4. Other people get this. Other people's things work out. But me? I'm the exception, the one who waits forever and gets nothing. And that story becomes comfortable, becomes how you explain yourself to yourself, becomes reason you can accept the waiting without feeling like failure. 2 years builds skepticism that's hard to dismantle. When anything even slightly promising appears, you immediately dissect it. What's the catch? Where's the fine print? How will this disappoint me specifically? You've been burned before, or more accurately, you've been waiting before and nothing came, so now you're hypervigilant. Looking for proof that this time won't be different either. 2 years makes you forget what you actually wanted in first place. You wanted X, but 2 years of not having twisted it into Y. You convinced yourself you wanted something smaller, more realistic, more achievable, because wanting the actual thing felt too dangerous. So when actual thing arrives, you almost don't want it anymore. You want the watered down version you settled for during the wait. That's what waiting does. It rewrites desire, makes you forget the original vision that set you waiting in the first place. Here's what I'm seeing that's making me freak out. The thing you've been waiting for, and we both know what it IS, even if you've stopped admitting it out loud, is organizing itself to arrive in form that's somehow better than what you originally wanted. Not better in different way, better in I forgot to ask for this part, but apparently I get it anyway way. You wanted the job, you're getting the job and the mentor and the equity. You wanted the relationship, you're getting the relationship and the emotional availability and the shared values you thought were unicorn level rare. And you wanted the money. You're getting the money and the sustainability and the fuck you, I can breathe now relief. You wanted the recognition. You're getting recognition and respect and opportunities that compound. Whatever your specific 2 year wait has been about, it's not arriving as consolation prize. It's arriving as jackpot. And that should feel amazing, right? Except it feels terrifying because you built entire coping structure around not having, and having means dismantling that structure, means admitting you were wrong to protect yourself so thoroughly, means vulnerability of hoping again after hope kept disappointing you, means risk of caring about something that could still be taken. Why now, after 2 years? What changed? Not them, not the job, not the opportunity, not the universe's timeline. You changed. 2 years ago, you wanted it desperately, and desperation is repellent, creates energy of lack, of need, of please God, I can't survive without this. And that energy blocks the very thing you're desperate for, not because universe is mean, because desperation makes you small, makes you grasping, makes you someone who would accept anything that looks even slightly like what you want because you're so starved. But you're not desperate anymore. You're not even waiting, really. You released it, made peace, started building life that works without it. And that energetic shift from needing to preferring is what finally allowed it to approach. Or maybe 2 years was actual requirement. Not arbitrary, not punishment, but necessary time for other pieces to align, for you to develop capacity to handle this thing, for circumstances to shift in ways that make this possible when it wasn't possible before. You're ready now in ways you weren't 2 years ago, even though you thought you were ready then. Even though waiting felt pointless, it wasn't. Or maybe you needed to prove something to yourself, to them, to universe, that you weren't going to quit, that you could sustain hope even when hope looked stupid, that you could keep building even when building seemed futile. And you did prove it. 2 years, you're still here, still wanting, even if quietly, still available for it to arrive. That persistence is why it's arriving now. What must watch dear means urgency of this message, because you could miss it even now. Even after 2 years, you could miss it by not recognizing it. It's not arriving with label, not arriving with, hi, I'm the thing you waited 2 years for. It's arriving looking different than you imagined, through channel you weren't monitoring, at time that feels random. And if you're not watching, if you're so convinced it's never coming that you've stopped looking, you might scroll past it, delete the email, decline the invitation, say no before you realize you're saying no to your own answered prayer. Must watch means pay attention this week, next week, this month. Stay present. Notice what's different. Notice who's reaching out. Notice opportunities that appear. Notice thoughts that won't leave you alone. The thing you waited 2 years for is arriving, but it needs you to participate, to say yes, to reach back, to take the call, to show up. It won't force itself on you. You have to choose it, even though choosing feels scary after 2 years of not having. And dear, that's not just filler word, that's affection. That's recognition that you've been through something. That 2 years of waiting while watching others get their thing is brutal. That you've earned tenderness. That you deserve to have someone care that your wait is ending. So, dear, beloved, valued person who's been holding on longer than seemed reasonable, your wait is ending. And I'm freaking out with you because I know what it's like to wait that long. And I know how hard it is to believe when the thing finally comes. What you need to do when it arrives, recognize it, even if it looks different. You were expecting door to open, but maybe it's window or ceiling hatch or ground giving way beneath you into underground passage you didn't know existed. Different doesn't mean wrong, means reality is more creative than your imagination. Resist impulse to test it, to make it prove itself before you believe it's real, to create obstacles to see if it'll jump through hoops. That's fear trying to maintain control, trying to protect you from disappointment by making sure this is really real before you invest. But testing delays. Testing creates distance. Testing can actually destroy the very thing you're testing. Sometimes you have to trust before you have proof. That's what faith is. Say yes faster than feels comfortable. Your comfort zone was built around not having this thing. So, comfortable response is probably no, or let me think about it, or I'm not sure I'm ready. But you are ready. 2 years of waiting made you ready. You just don't feel ready because feeling ready would require acknowledging how much you want this. And wanting feels dangerous. After 2 years of wanting without receiving, want anyway. Say yes anyway. Expect your nervous system to freak out. Heart racing, stomach dropping, feeling like you might vomit or cry or both. That's not warning. That's just your system detecting major change and interpreting change as threat because that's what nervous systems do. You're not in danger, you're in transformation. Feels similar, is completely different. Tell someone, not everyone, but someone who's been watching you, wait, who knows what this means? Who can witness you receiving after all this time? Having witness makes it real, makes it harder to minimize or pretend it's not that big a deal. And receive it fully. Don't immediately start preparing for when it leaves. Don't make backup plans in case it disappears. Don't hold it loosely because holding tight feels too risky. Have it. Let yourself have it. Let having be real, even though having after 2 years of not having feels surreal. The power is yours. It always has been. You waited 2 years. I'm freaking out. You need to watch. Because what you've been waiting for is arriving, and you could miss it by not recognizing it, by testing it instead of receiving it, by saying maybe when you need to say yes, by protecting yourself from disappointment so thoroughly that you reject the very blessing you've been waiting for. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Trust yourself. And listen, 2 years wasn't wasted, it was preparation for this moment, for receiving, for becoming person who can hold what's about to arrive without dropping it through unworthiness or fear. You're ready. Even if you don't feel ready, it's here. Even if you don't see it yet, watch, pay attention, notice, say yes. Your 2 year wait is ending.